Hey everyone, it's another edition of CHIRP TV. I'm Anthony Lombardi, the sports editor of Ball State Daily News, joined again by David Polaski. David is the head football reporter here at Ball State. David, it's week 9. Ball State's coming off a big win, big road win. What are they going to have to do this week? They're taking on Akron. They're getting back their starting quarterback, Kyle Poole, who's been out for a couple weeks with a concussion.
Right.
What kind of impact will he have on this game?
Well, Poole did miss the previous game with a concussion, and now that they're getting him back, he brings sort of a calming influence to the Akron offense. Doesn't put up a whole lot of great stats, just over 200 yards per game, 7 touchdowns in 6 games, so it doesn't blow you out of the water, but at the same time, he can direct that offense better than the backup does and provides sort of a calming influence for them as a whole.
On the defensive side, Akron, top defense in the MAC, allowing 18 points per game. What does Ball State? What is the main thing that Ball State is going to have to look out for when facing that defense?
Well, let's see. First of all, 21 sacks, top in the MAC. I believe 8 interceptions, 16 turnovers forced overall. So this team takes the ball away really, really well. And looking at a quarterback in Jack Miles' third start, he calls himself a gunslinger, can play right into the hands of a defense that takes the ball away like that. So not only will Miles be trusted to move the ball down the field, but he has to protect the ball at the same time, because if they're turning the ball over, it's going to give Akron short fields, and then Akron's going to capitalize, and Ball State doesn't want to be in a position where they have to come back at this point.
Again, no Horatio Banks this week. He's out with the injury, hamstring injury. What does that mean for Ball State's running game?
It means it's going to be another long day for Jahwan Edwards. Coach Pete Lembo said in his press conference on Tuesday that there were a few times when he got hit where it made Lembo even cringe. So Ball State will probably just have to keep feeding him the rock a lot. Luckily for them, he's a power back, and he can sort of sustain that beating, but at the same time, they'll have to watch him carefully and make sure he doesn't get too worked over and beaten up in the process, that he's susceptible to injury.
So do you think that in order to keep Edwards more healthy moving forward, that the coaching staff might have to implement Teddy Williamson a little bit more into the game plan?
It's possible. Lembo expressed confidence in him when he was talking about him in the press conference. He doesn't have quite as much experience as Horatio Banks does, and I wouldn't expect him to play any sort of major role, but it's not out of the question for him to get carries every now and then just to relieve Edwards and give him a break every now and then.
Definitely. And then, again, as always, what's your prediction on the game? Will Ball State win 2 in a row?
Well, looking at this game right now, Akron's a tough opponent, and a few weeks ago I probably would have picked Akron to win this game, but right now I think Ball State's sort of starting to get ahead of steam, and they're starting to play into their own game right now. I think Ball State pulls out a close one. They get that second win in a row.
All right, well, you heard it from David. Thank you for joining us this week on CHIRP TV. You can follow the Daily News on Twitter at DN_sports, and you can follow David on Twitter at David Polaski. Hope to see you next week for another edition of CHIRP TV.